Okay, we're gonna do a video on this child, ZIUE, or however you say his name, because I've had a very bad experience involving him and his server. And I don't think people like this should own a server, nor even be a moderator of one anyway, so I'm gonna expose him for the crappy person he is. So, apparently, I add him arbitrarily 6 hours ago, but in reality, probably months ago. And he just now accepts it. Now he asks me, how may I assist you? Which seems fine at first, except takes me a little bit to find out what to say to that, because I didn't really want anything from him. In fact, I couldn't even remember where I added him from, because it probably had been months. Because the request got denied. I mean, not denied. The friend request, it was delayed a long time. Because by the time it was accepted, there was no link between me and him except for that request. So I say, I can't remember where I added him from. Were you ever in the Switchcraft Discord server? Because he has a mutual friend, Dimigai. And actually, by now, there's two other people. He funds his server, which is a really bad idea. It's probably gonna blow it the second it gets a chance. But also friends with this guy who actually just accepted a friend request from me, which I sent a while ago. And the guy the other guy, the guy I was talking about, which is Dimigai. Which is a guy from Switchcraft and Multi-MC, but I know him from Switchcraft mostly. So I asked him, I did all this before I sent this, and so I asked him, were you in the Switchcraft Discord by any chance? He said, no, you just added me, right? And he asks, and he's like, how do you not remember? Well, I don't remember because I added someone a few days ago and haven't added anyone since then. And I tell him that we have a mutual friend from the Switchcraft Discord server, and that's why I asked that specifically. And then he gives me a time for whatever reason, and says that I sent him a friend request. I think that's the time zone. I don't really know, and time. And then I say, well, it's 11:44 p.m. for me. I didn't send anyone a friend request just now, but some others never even got the requests I sent them, so maybe it's just delayed, which is a valid hypothesis. And he sends me proof that he's not lying, which I wasn't assuming he was lying. I assumed the friend request was delayed. It says that I sent him a friend request when I was asleep, so I couldn't have even done that. So, either someone was on my account or the thing was delayed, and my account is super secure. No one's gotten into my account. I don't click on links from other people that I don't know. And I don't even know who falls for those Discord Nitro things, how do people still fall for those? It's clearly not a Discord Nitro link, and I don't know how people are that dumb, but I'm not. So I'm going to assume that it was just delayed, or it's just a Discord glitch. So he reiterates about 6 hours ago. Then I say I didn't add anyone yesterday either. Odd. So it's delayed about 36 hours. 30. Because 6 hours ago. Actually, that would be 42. I was wrong there. This should be 42, and but it didn't really matter because he said that's capped because they ain't delayed. You can't predict glitches. Well, I mean, actually you can, but not these, and we can't predict them. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. I had people, and most of them don't even accept things, so maybe it's just my account that's bugged. Because this one just got accepted. This one wasn't even sent, which there's a reason for that, and it's not to do with me. It's actually to do with him. So that has an explanation. and one of my friends, um, I sent them a friend request twice, and actually, he brings this up later that you can't send a friend request twice. What I did because I was on my phone actually, was I I tap on them, and then I go to where it would say add friend, and it says pending. Now I can tap on that, and then it says remove friend, which contracts the friend request, block, which essentially just blocks them, or like report or whatever. So I just clicked remove friend, which retracts the friend request. It doesn't say that, which is why this guy probably doesn't even know that's a thing. But it does retract the friend request, and if you have it on your phone, check, because it does work, and that's what it does. So that's why I was able to do that. And you can do that from the friends thing too. Like if you click on friends and then you go to like where it says requests, and then you just click the X, and you can do you can do that for the ones that you send to people as well, not just the ones people send to you. So this guy's arguing with knowledge that he doesn't have, so keep that in mind. And so yeah, well, what I was saying was the friend that I was trying to send a friend request to, that didn't even go through the first 2 times. It went through the 3rd time. I don't know why it only went through the 3rd. I have no clue why that was a thing. Maybe it was because I was actually active and Discord saw that I was active or something. I don't know. I don't know what the parameters are for how Discord sees activeness. I was legit typing in the chat and it still said I was idle, so I don't know what the hell's up with that. But that'll also come up later. Literally every single thing that could possibly go wrong went wrong here, including the other person's reasonableness and knowledge. So he says you can't send. Well, actually, what I say is as people of them don't even accept it, and maybe it's just my account that's bugged, because it's just Discord is buggy, you know. And then I also say one of them, as I was saying, told me he didn't even get one, and I had sent him 2, but by the 3rd time it showed up in the end, like I was just saying. And then I said before that I had no clue what was happening. That was a few days ago, so before that I didn't even know that something like that could happen. And then he calls my bluff again, saying you can't send multiple friend requests without denying them first, which is exactly what I did. And I tell him what I just told you guys, but he asks who I am, and I tell him I'm Jaden, and most people call me Red. Long story. Yeah, that is actually a pretty long story too. And he's like, well, how did you find my Discord? And I tell him that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I literally have no clue. Like Switchcraft was was what I thought it was, but apparently it wasn't. And I say you probably left whatever server I found him in, because that usually happens when there isn't any connection at all, except for like a friend or 2. They either left it, or it was just a group chat, or I left the server, which I probably did. And he says I never left any server, and then I say what I just said, which is, or maybe I left it, but I'm in 100 of them and don't usually leave servers. Yeah, I only leave servers if I really have to, like if there's a server I need to get into, but it's full, because 100 is the max server list for non-Nitro subscribers, and I don't have money for Nitro. Are you kidding me? So I don't have it. So I'm maxed out at 100 servers. I'm at 99 right now. That'll come up later. And he says, never seen you before. And like, that's quite obvious, because I know too. And then I ask him again, she for sure was never in Switchcraft. Like, how do you know Demaguy? Because Demaguy is the guy that was in Switchcraft. And he's like, I've known him for ages. And points to other folks. And then I ask him, you didn't leave any servers in the past week or so? And he says, nope. I'm like, what the balls? Do you recognize my username? And I give him my Minecraft username. And he says, no. And I say, alright, this Discord has been active for 4 years and 2 months. Because, well, I mean, it's 2022 and I created it in early 2018. So I tell him that, and if friend requests can be delayed somehow, that means we could have crossed paths at any time during that period. Do you have an old name? I might remember it. And then I look closer into his profile, and I see Rimage06, and I do remember that name from somewhere. I still don't know where I remember it from, but I do. And so I tell him, wait, I might remember that name. And then he says, never called myself that on Discord. And I ask him, well, in Minecraft though? And he said, yeah, but years ago. So I ask him, Betalands? Because that sounds like a Betalands name that I might remember, Rimage06. And then he says, also friend requests aren't delayed, and that's some bullshit. I thought he was just saying it was bullshit because, like, Discord being glitchy is crappy, aka bullshit kind of thing. Turns out, no, he was just trying to, I don't know what the point of that was. And all I can assume is he was just trying to be mean to me. Which I don't find very nice, just saying. And he knocks that down, and he badgers me about this to tell him who I am. So, and then I do that later on, but I say here, I respond to, also friend requests aren't delayed, and I say, well, then there's literally no explanation for why you got something 6 hours ago when I never even sent it 6 hours ago. Because there isn't. There just isn't, other than that. And it happened, so obviously it had to have been that, because there's no other explanation. So he asks, who gave you my Discord? And, no one gave me his Discord. Because I don't even remember where I know him from. And all of a sudden I'm going to come out with a name. Like, come on. That's just stupid. And then I tell him, well, I wasn't even awake 6 hours ago. Because I wasn't. And he just calls me full of shit and that it can't be delayed. Yeah, it can't be delayed on purpose. It's a glitch. So, dumbass. And I tell him who I am, because he asked. I'm like, that's who I am. And he says, never heard of you. Because, well, I mean, duh. And so I'm like, I know. Then how do you know my old username? And I tell him why. I really wanted to tell him, well, it's on your profile, dumbass. But I didn't, because that's not cool. And he's called me full shit 3 times so far. And I haven't said a mean thing once, not even close to a mean thing once. So far, I'm not a big fan of this kid. So, I tell him, because it's in her profile, and I remember this name, and he tries to, I don't know, NameMC is the site that you go to look up people's names and their histories. Like Minecraft names and histories, not real life. That'd be freaky. And actually kind of cool at the same time. Anyway, MMC is that kind of a site, and if I had searched ZIUE, I might have come up with this name, but I don't know, because I haven't checked. But I knew it because of Spotify, and it rang a bell, so I mentioned it. And he asks that. He says, do you mean my Spotify? And I take a screenshot on my phone, and I draw on top of it, so it's telling him where it is and where I'm pointing. I say, yeah, trying to find a connection, and that's the name I remember. Sounds like a Betalands name. Did you play on there? And he's like, no. The only server I've played on the only server I've played on that starts with a B is Breadlands, Lemfow. Okay, I just typed out Tekkit, but I the hell? Anyway, I asked him Tekkit stuff, because Tekkit servers were stuff I was doing 3 or 4 years ago, even 5 years ago. And he says no, Skyblock server that he's owned, and that he's never played Tekkit. And I tell him, well, that's stuff I did years ago. I might have been on a random Skyblock server a couple of years ago because someone invited me on YouTube of all places, which that was on the old channel. And then I asked him again just to make sure you're completely sure you got a friend request from me 6 hours ago, and that it wasn't one of those things that notifies you again to make sure you heard it, like a text message on iPhones. And I turned that setting off because it is really annoying. Like sometimes when my dad, or sometimes when my mom texts my dad, because they both have iPhone XRs, mom texts my dad, and my dad's phone is like never muted or anything, so it's on the like on the table, and he leaves it upstairs. I don't know why he does that. My dad leaves his phone upstairs. Keep having to bring it to him. But he leaves it upstairs on the table. I can hear every noise it makes. So I know I've heard like 3 dings, 3 text message dings, but he's only gotten 1 text message in the past day or something like that. So it's like the thing that every like 15 minutes it'll ding again, but for the same message, just to make sure someone's heard it. It's really annoying, so I turned it off. And I tell him, well, so apart from that, you're into Minecraft server hosting, so that might be where I got in contact with you from. And then I tell him, and then he tells me it's not a thing, which it is. He's just flat out tucking out his ass now. And he's like, no. And I tell him it's a thing, look it up. And it's also a setting, so it's doubly a thing. It's 2 things, double. And and he says, so it did it on his PC as well, is what I'm saying, because he hopped on his PC and saw my friend request. And I told him, well, you sent a screenshot from your phone, not your PC. And he sent me the time again for some reason. And I tell him, so I thought you just had this happen on your phone, because he only sent me a screenshot from his phone, not from his computer. So I had no clue he was on his computer instead. And, yeah, which makes sense, but there's no way I could have known that. And I said, okay, now I know that, that's helpful, because it is. Then I said, but it notified you on Windows as well from this on the side, just making sure, like over here, because it should. But and then he says no, he is doing it disturb mode. I wanted to say, well, then that wasn't very helpful. I don't know what all that was about, but I didn't, because I'm nice to people when I have to be. And then I'm like, oh, and he says, because I get phone requests and DMs all the time. And then yeah, he's the owner of a few things, which he really shouldn't be, but he is. But we're gonna pretend that we're dealing with that. So I tell him, yes, you're the owner of something. It makes sense that you get a lot of requests and stuff. And he tells me what he's on, which actually he might not even be on any of these anymore, because he said he used to be a mod for this one, but he said he was a mod. So shut up. So maybe that wasn't even a thing. By the way, this is actually just a something that happens with this, which is my server. So yeah, my web server actually, because it has a log for the it keeps a log of the stuff in this area for all the IPs, so I can ban people if I need to. And sometimes, this is kind of rare, but sometimes it'll pop up with a Windows security alert, which is complete bullshit. I don't know what that's about, but Anyway, wait, what? Oh, okay. Anyway. So he's like, you own Lunar, or are you just a head div or something? And, I was kind of dumb there, because he did say mod. But I thought for that, I thought he meant that he was a developer for the Lunar client mod, or one of the mods in it, which is different than being a moderator. And then I asked him, "Do you know Wingold, John?" Which I'm gonna assume he lied here, because it was pretty plain later on that he did know him, and he was just bluffing here, lying to me. And I tell him that John has a million different other names, but he plays on a shit ton of PvP servers, and he's kind of funny. It's fairly possible that that's where I added him from. And he says, "Are you really this stupid?" I just said friend requests aren't delayed, which, no, you're wrong, because mine did get delayed, and you're full of and you're the one that's full of shit. I say, I'm still working on top of the assumption that friend requests are delayed. I was typing this by the time I was done typing this by the time he had already sent all this. So I kind of read his mind with that, I guess, because I knew he was going to say that, because he wasn't a pleasant human being before. He's not going to fix that about himself, is he? No. Kids don't do that. So, he just calls my shit a fifth time, and, he said that, if he did it me ages ago, it would be invalid, as I changed my name. And actually, that is completely false, because Discord actually works off of IDs. They don't work off of names in the back end. So, he's completely wrong here, and it's provable. But that's not up to me to prove. Everyone already knows that. This kid just doesn't. So he's wrong again. And this is damn easy to know. I don't know why he doesn't know it. So, I tell him, well, I didn't just send one, because I didn't. And then he tries to tell me I did. And I didn't send one a day ago. I didn't send one 2 days ago. I didn't send one 3 days ago. I didn't send one recently. So, he just asks me, you didn't? And he said 6 hours ago, again, trying to make me believe something that is not true. And then I'm like, well, so the only possible conclusion is that it was delayed, because if it wasn't, I would have had to have sent it 6 hours ago when I was not conscious. So I don't know what he's calling me dumb, when obviously he's the one being as dumb as the doorknob. But yeah, some people are just crappy human beings. He's like, nope. And I tell him that. I tell him I was asleep, and then he tries to tell me I'm full of shit. And if I had a picture of me sleeping, if I could even do that, I would have, if that would have helped. But I can't, so, And I tell him I sleep insanely late, and that I sleep so late that I'm gonna get a job on the night shift, because it's just much easier for me not to get up when I'm just trying to sleep. And then I'm asking him, why would I want to lie? Because it's clear to me now that he's just being a shitty human being. He's not just saying Discord is bullshit. He's actually trying to accuse me of being the bullshit. So I tell him, well, why would I want to lie? I have nothing to say to someone telling me I'm full of shit, because I don't. I'm not full of shit. I got nothing else to say other than I'm not full of shit, and what do you want from me? Which he never told me what he wanted. He never did. He just told me I'm a hacker, and fuck if he cares who sees all this crappy stuff he does. And I tell him I've had people be grouchy that I sent a friend request before, but this is worse because he's asking for explanations that I just don't have. I even gave him some plausible explanations. He just didn't accept them. And so he's nitpicking again. He goes on to say why I'm on idle, idle, and it takes me a second to figure out what he meant by this, but this should have been while I'm typing, because you shouldn't be able to be on idle status while you're typing, unless you change it here, which I didn't, but that's beside the point. I was typing on my phone, and he is correct in saying that I was on idle and that should not have happened. But he was not correct in trying to make me believe that I'm a hacker, because I'm not. And this is no reason to believe that. So I don't know what his problem was, but let's go on. And he's like, tell me right now, who is this? And he's trying to make me think that I've been hacked and that I'm token logged, and just, I don't know, thinks it's funny. I don't know what any of this is funny, but okay. And I was still typing this when I finished this, but yeah. And to make it worse, I don't know where I even know you from, or even though I'm really trying to figure that out. And then I quit typing that out and then switched to answering these questions. And how would I know? How would I know? Because I wouldn't know. For me, it's saying I'm online, so I don't know why I would say I'm on idle. And I tell him, well, I can prove that I'm not on idle, which turns out I was wrong, because it actually did say I was on idle, because I went to check just so I could get a screenshot and prove him wrong. And he's trying to ask for the real person behind the screen, which was me. I don't know what his problem was. And I'm like, yeah, it does, because it did say that I'm online, and taking a screenshot of that wouldn't really prove shit. And then I tell him to call, and it's like, that account is on idle. The correct word is your, and not that, because that is wrong. That is an incorrectly formed sentence in this context. And he also goes on to say, and that shit ain't possible. Well, sorry to break your bubble, but yeah, it's possible, because I did it, bitch. And I don't even know how. I don't even care how. I'm just not a hacker, okay? And I say, I don't know what good it proves, but I don't know what good it does, but I can call if he wants me to, because I can talk, Most hackers won't talk, at least in my experience, the few that I've talked to. Most of them don't even talk, or like in a call or voice chat. And he goes ahead and calls me a hacker because he's stupid, and here you need me to switch it online or something, because I could just go down here and switch it to online and override the idle thing so it's no longer glitchy. And he tries to make me believe that I'm gonna pull his IP from a call, which I could do that shit without having to call. I could have done that once he accepted the friend request. There's no reason why I would have to call him to do that. That's just for noobs. There are ways to do it without calling. But one thing I do know is that you can't do it through group chats, and you can't do it through servers. At least I don't think you can. Might be wrong about that, but I don't think you can. And then because he thinks I'm gonna grab his IP if we call, I'm telling him, well, group or server, because I believe you can't grab people's IPs from through a DM group or Discord server. So, and he asks again, dives again, saying, whoever's really on this account. And I'm like, what does he want from me? And he just calls me fucking retarded. And newsflash, you're the one that's retarded and not me, because you're the one that thought I was a hacker. And this is not really helping my case, is it? Go away. Okay, I'm debating whether I want to re-record this or not, because someone's gonna latch onto that and try to make me think that I've been token logged through that. I know I haven't been. It's just Windows being a piece of shit. And so he says a really mean thing, and I do say something kind of rude, but not anywhere as rude as this dumbass comment. And in my mind, I really wanted to tell him off, like I'm his dad, but I didn't. And but I almost did. I almost did. And he's like, "You're asking me? You're the one who added me." And this is where I accuse him of lying about when I sent the request, because I didn't send the request 6 hours ago. I sent it at least 4 days ago. And he's not making any sense. And so I tell him I record literally everything so I could search for a recording on that date. Because I do literally record everything. Look at me right now. And I could, search for a recording on the date that it says I sent him a friend request, but he's still, badgering on about it. Didn't you just say you weren't on? And now you're saying you recorded it. I was not on 6 hours ago, but I was on. I could have been on whenever I actually sent the friend request, not when he says I did. Because 6 hours ago I was fucking asleep, so I wasn't on. But because that's when he's saying I sent it, I can't help it. So I asked him for the actual date so that I can pull up the recording and see where I know him from. And he just latches onto this because he's an idiot and he isn't thinking things through and trying to, I don't know, stick stuff to me with that. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. It was not. He's like, it's like he was drunk or something. He was not thinking straight. And he says, or no, I say, yeah, I wasn't on 6 hours ago, asking for the real date that I sent it. I don't record while I'm sleeping. Some people do, but I don't. Because, some people, they talk in their sleep, and other people may want to know what they're saying when they're sleeping, which is kind of funny. It's actually kind of cool, but I don't record myself when I'm sleeping. And even if I did, I would not be able to send a friend request when I'm asleep, you fucking idiot. And I try to call his bluff because he's just being an idiot now. And I'd say, okay, so someone, hacked into my account and sent something to you? I'm not a hacker, I'm not a hacked account, and I have a YouTube channel that you can compare my voice to, if that's really what you need to do, but this is me, and yeah. And then he blocks me, and, well, no, he didn't block me. I found this out later, because I sent him another friend request, which he would not have been able to do if he blocked me. So, he removed me as a friend, but he has his DMs off, so looked like he blocked me. And I apologize for literally nothing. I didn't do anything wrong. He did all the wrongdoing. And I apologize for nothing and say it was worth a try to convince him that I wasn't a hacker, because I'm not a fucking hacker. How dumb do you people have to be? Like a minute later, I edit the message again, because you can edit messages after you've been blocked by someone, or removed by someone that doesn't have their DMs on. And I tell him, if you want to talk to the hacker or whatever you think I am, then I'm in this VC, which I'm still in. That's this VC. And I add him back. I send him another friend request. He accepts it almost instantly. I tell him to join the damn thing, because I just want to get this over with at this point. And then he goes a different direction and just says, "What the hell are you advertising that shit?" And I'm like, I'll do whatever, just join the thing and I'll prove that I'm not a hacker. And but yeah, he's just being an asshole at this point. So I go ahead and say, like, you can't just tell me I'm a hacker. Actually, wait, yeah, you can't, because anyone can say anything on the internet, doesn't make it true. And I tell him, well, yeah, actually, you can say that I'm a hacker, but it doesn't make it true. Because it fucking isn't, you know? You can't, I'm not a hacker if someone tells me I'm a hacker. And he joins the server at some point, and just tells me it's a shit server, and I tell him I'm from my own server, because I have a few servers too, and I'm just not I'm just a better owner than he is, I guess, because normal people, they don't act like this. They don't act drunk. They don't they don't falsely accuse people of hacking their account. They don't get on a case that they think is yours, even though it isn't, for no reason. They act like they're nice, because they are. And they act like they don't want their server to die, because they don't. But this kid does not seem to want his server to not die, you know? And I'll tell you why. So after he removes me again, I send him another friend request. He doesn't add me back. And I'm still being nice, and I say just a few friends. And I tell him, if you want proof I'm not a hacker or whatever, you got to join the VC, because you can't hear me from the text chat. I wanted to say dumbass instead of lol, but I didn't, because I'm nicer than that. And I also say, I don't know what to say to you anymore. I'm not a hacker, but have fun thinking that, I guess. Bye. And then I start streaming in an effort to find his server, to try to further convince him, or if not, just get banned and then make this video. And turns out both of them happened. Because after all of this, the big man decides to refuse to apologize to me. And this makes me think one of two things. Either he's in a mental hospital, or two, he just wants the server to die at the hands of people that hate him. And for the sake of this video, I'm gonna say the latter. I don't like children running around hosting servers like this that have funding, of all things. Like, people give this kid money for his server. And I am flabbergasted that he hasn't driven them off yet. They're giving him money. Like, let's just let that sink in. They're giving like, this kid that won't apologize for his big crappy mistake against another player. And not only that, he doubled down too. Like, let me show you. Hey, this guy is just, God, I don't know what his problem is, but let me find the file. Here it is. No, that's not it. Here it is. That's not it either. Shit. There it is. This is the start of when I started streaming. But this was the, yeah, this is me setting up the stream. Like I said, I'll record everything. So I start searching for a server, and then I fail, because I don't think this is his server. And I go looking for his Discord, because that's something I can do. And I join it. because I had 99 servers, and this was the 100th, so I could not join anymore past this. Except I left it, so. Because the owner is a dick. And so, I recognize Techno here. This is not like Techno the YouTuber, this is someone that emulates the YouTuber. But he's actually a cool kid. We were talking computer specs a while back, and we actually did that a little more here. And this completely threw whatever shit that, like, this is where I realized that I know Zivs, or whoever his name is, ZIUE. This is where I know ZIUE from. Because Techno was an investor in a few servers, and this is one of them. God knows why, because this guy's a dick and no one should invest in him. But I didn't have him added, which was an alarm sign at first, because what good is having a friend in a server that can prove that you're not, or that you are who you say you are, if they're not even added. Turns out his old account actually got terminated, and this is his new one, so that's why I didn't have him added on it, because it's a new account that I didn't have him added on. I thought it was from some other silly reason, mainly because he still says the N-word a lot, and he said it a lot back when I knew him as well. So that's why I didn't. That's why I thought I didn't have him added, but I was incorrect there. And so what I do is, he's like, what? And I tell him where I know Techno from, and tell him where I know, Wingold, aka John, because that's who introduced me to Techno. And this is proof that I know him, right here. And this is probably where he knew he was wrong, but, and I was dying in the background. I decided not to do anything about it, though. And I do a little bit of catching up, and then I go ahead and I tell my friend to tell this idiot kid that I'm not a freaking hacker, and that I'm not, because I'm not a hacker. And I tell him there was nothing bad happening except his judgment, because that is the only thing that was wrong in that situation, was the way he handled it. I told him he blew at me for no reason, and the correct thing to do would be to apologize. But that's actually not even him acknowledging what I said. That's him saying yes to balls. Just saying. And he spurs more excuses. Told me a sob story, and I'm not buying it. So, it's an excuse. And there's me talking about Techno. And then I go ahead and start asking for a fucking apology, because After all that shit, he better give me one. Apology was deserved long before he removed me the first time. So I tell him he needs to fucking apologize. And that he said a lot of things that I didn't like. And he should apologize for them. But in a nicer way, of course. And that wasn't good enough, so he decided to use the same excuses that he used just minutes ago for this, as an excuse to not apologize to me. And I tell him excuses aren't an apology. And I told him he said things that weren't nice and that I didn't say them. And he said, well, it's sus. That's an excuse. Don't listen to that. And then he goes ahead and says another mean thing, which I'm still expecting an apology for. Not expecting anything fancy, just expecting a fucking sorry. Apology would be nice when someone says you're full of shit 5 times, calls you a hacker 6 times, and then goes out of their way to waste your time. And then after everything, defends their wrongdoings with excuses twice. And then says they don't even give a fuck. That's not someone that should host a server. And if you think it is, well, I got nothing to say to you either. Hope this kid's server dies. He should not have a server at all. Thank you.